Micah chapter 2 and verse 10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with the sword destruction. Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Makakudash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. This is your brother Dawadah for the Men of Valor Camp. Salaki. Here in Greenville, South Carolina. Coming back with another video on sincerity and in truth. Lord willing, it can be edifying. And this video, all right, I started with Micah 2 and 10 because I have this article right here. It is titled, "The Middle Class is Increasingly Becoming the Impoverished Class, and the Poor Are Increasingly Being Pushed into the Streets." And going into the economy, all right, part of what I like to do, all right, to continue to measure the deterioration and the decay of America, Babylon the Great, is looking at its economy and how they're pushing everything as they push for this NWO, pushing the so-called middle class out, because that is what made America so appealing, to the eyes of the world. This stable and steady middle class, they've had for 70, 80 years now. Basically, given the false sense that you could come here, you can make money, and you can make it. All right. Now, of course, not everybody can be the ultra rich, the super rich, but all right, people can. People could. I'll say that, because it's becoming increasingly harder. But a lot of people settle for just that, nice house in the suburbs. Think about the 1950s when people moved from the cities to the suburbs, mainly Edomites. And, the man was the sole provider, all right? And he had a job and he could afford a house and 2 cars, and the wife could stay home. And then the women wanted to go to work, and Esau was able to tax both the man and the woman, all right? But now that sense of, that middle class, that white picket fence, is becoming increasingly harder. And that's not a plan that they have for the NWO. They don't plan on having a middle class. All right. Klaus Schwab of the World Economic Forum said what? He said, you will own nothing and be happy. All right. They're going through with the company Blackstone, which has become the largest residential property owner in the United States. You got Bill Gates owning the most farmland in the United States. All right. They pay you in Federal Reserve notes that's not backed by anything other than the petrodollar, it being the petrodollar, and even that's going to be trumped by the BRICS currency. It's not backed by gold and silver. So if we know, according to the scriptures, God's money is gold, land, cattle, all right, gold, silver, land, cattle, slaves, which they got that on point, but, not for the mass majority of people. Nobody really has any wealth. Even the people that own these houses, these nice houses, if you don't pay, you could pay your mortgage for 30 years and pay your house off. If you don't pay your property taxes, they'll take your whole house, and they don't even care that you paid for the last 30 years. You gotta pay the man. Showing you, hey, we don't own anything in this world, man, which is why I started bringing it back full circle with Micah chapter 2 and verse 10. All right, we've been commanded to arise and depart. See, Esau can sell Jake a pipe dream, a facade, all right, because Jake comes from straight poverty most of the time, and give him a couple dollars for dribbling the basketball or throwing a football or rapping and singing or acting, and Jake thinks they made it. Even you have camps that have the 501c3 charter, which we should all know who they are, who are making money hand over fist, but it's nothing, man. It's nothing for Esau to take that shit away, man. We lay up our treasures in heaven, man, where moth and rust do not corrupt. But those that think that they're making it now, those that think they're trying to be steady, most people are barely keeping their head above water. It's about to get increasingly more difficult, man, as Esau attempts to set up his NWO. So let's read a little bit of this article. It says America's middle class is being systemically, so like it real quick.